Good morning, everybody. The song is called There Is Only Love. It's written by Michael Gott. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I fear I've lost my way, when is only love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Thank you.
What a beautiful way to start this morning's service. A gorgeous song sung with a gorgeous voice. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all of you that are watching on screen out there, on live stream or Facebook or YouTube. Listen, take a moment and text a friend. Tell them you're tuning into the Unity service. They can pick it up on live stream. Just go to unityofboulder.com and pick it up and watch it and enjoy it. Because this is what we're about. We are about community, the Unity community. And regardless of the fact that we've gone through a lot of difficult situations now with the COVID virus and things like that, we need to really stay in this awareness of community. We are all in this life together. And as we realize that, we open our hearts and minds to share. And that's really what Thanksgiving is all about. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know we were restricted to the number of people we could have, but even so, the real feeling is within us to have that Thanksgiving within. So I hope that with that idea that we are a community, all the people on this planet are part of the human race, and we share with each other. So if you think about that, take some time, do some sharing. That's going to make you feel like you're part of the community. Thanks for tuning in. You're going to love this talk being shared by Santisha.
Good morning, Unity of Boulder. How's everyone today? Good, wonderful. Good to have some faces in here today. Just want to introduce our music program for today. We have to get the Christmas season kind of starting to roll in that, and I do hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're going to open with a flamenco version of Mary Did You Know? Very nice song. I loved this one for a long time. I want to really focus on the miracles they speak of in some of the choruses and that. And when I been working on this song, really hold those miracles that Jesus did, that we have inside of us, that we are able to perform these miracles in our daily lives. And I think it's a real powerful message of that song. After a sermon, we'll be doing the Christmas song, and that's a very fun one. Reminiscing about that, a time in Saginaw, Michigan, I saw Mel Torme perform that in a concert and got to talk with him backstage, and he gave us just a little story about writing that song. And it was in the middle of July out in Los Angeles, sitting by a poolside, palm trees, drinks, the whole shebang. But they were prepping for the season and getting some songs ready. So one of our most beloved Christmas tunes in that, just kind of, sunshine, palm trees, just keep that in mind. They were conjuring those images. So I want to welcome again today April Joy Garten to sing with us today. April Joy.
Thank you, Todd. That was a beautiful intro. I love this song so much for what it speaks about the season and about the glory and the grace of who and what and how is to come, and how whatever we're speaking and singing about lives within you. So just a little reminder. did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy could calm a storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Oh, Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will believe, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy was Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the nation? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? The sleeping child you're holding is the great
Thank you, April and the band. Beautiful way to start. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, everyone, on live stream today. It's a chilly one here in Boulder, for sure. When I got up early to come here, I was like, it's like, if we're not going to get snow, then be warm. That's how I feel about it, you know? So my talk title today is The Freedom of a Forgiving Heart. And I wrote this sermon before Thanksgiving, and many currents changed during the week, and so I'm not really sure that's what the sermon is actually about at this point. It changes, you know, through time, and you can only speak to I can only speak to what I'm experiencing or something I've shared with someone, or, but I had kind of a crazy week with Thanksgiving and that feeling that I think a lot of us are feeling right now, which is just this lack of being able to do what we want to do, you know, the restrictions everywhere because of COVID, and I think it super feels magnified when it's a holiday week, when we have normal things that we usually do. We travel to different towns to go see certain family. Can you turn up the house lights a little bit, because I feel very disconnected from everyone. And so it's like, I felt like that on Easter, and then we felt it on the birthdays that we've missed. We felt it on our anniversaries where we couldn't go out. You know, it's like this feeling like you want to move forward, and it's just a no everywhere you turn. And then it's like Thanksgiving, which is this total time for family and for travel and for people to come in town, and that feeling like we drop away from work and we just get to bask in the presence of the ones that we love. And many of us now haven't seen our families for almost a year or a year. And so I kind of found myself in a little bit of a, just kind of a bond place. You know, I miss Shad and Erna, and I miss Dell and Lee and my nieces and nephews. And where I'm really seeing that play out is in my children. And this time is taking a toll finally on them, and having to be homeschooled, and then they finally have Thanksgiving break. But what kind of change did that make? Because now they're still stuck at home, and they don't get to see friends, and then all the family didn't come into town, and that's how I was feeling on Thanksgiving. Grateful that I have them, grateful that I could spend it with my parents, but usually it's, you know, grand, and it's family, and it's loud, and it's awesome, and we have all sorts of crazy stories to share about our gathering. Skiing, and it's snowboarding, and it's all that fun stuff. And I came into the church. I snuck in here on Friday later in the day, and the phone rang, and it was somebody from the church that wanted to talk. And she started to share with me that she has 2 teenagers, and one is driving and one is not, and she's feeling super overwhelmed by their behavior and how it's been picking up through the year of not having school and not having sports and not having outlets, the dance and the stuff that her kids used to do. And it's getting to the point where she's got almost like it feels like a war going on in her house, and she's trying to keep the keys of the car because she doesn't trust her kids to not follow the rules of COVID, and it was just extremely like downtrodden and feeling a sense like she's failing as a mother, you know. And everything she's saying, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like she's talking straight to myself. You know, when people say that when I speak, you're speaking right to me. It reminded me of something that's going on in my life. This phone call was like, hello, who is this? It was like, you know, the universe will show you that you're not alone in these feelings, you know. And I had a wonderful cathartic conversation with this woman, and it was helpful. And, you know, we were trying to figure out how do we lift ourselves up and get a second wind to keep on going on at this pace, and what it's calling for parents to have to do to keep their kids above water, let alone keep ourselves above water with all this disappointment and not so much change in sight. There are no mistakes, only lessons. Growth is a process of trial and error, experimentation. The failed experiments are as much a part of the process as the experimental that ultimately works. Nothing is accidental. When you think you've lost everything you've known, you somehow gain something you never knew you needed. And so that's kind of where we were sitting with it. And I said to her, you know, I'm going to sit down and pray about it. And, you know, we kind of decided we're going to put it in our God box. You know, what are we supposed to do to lift the children at this point? Because she and I were feeling very burnt out and very put upon kind of by the universe. Like, how much more can you handle to hand to families to keep on with a smile on your face while your children's behavior is really getting to a point where it's unworkable to be around? You know, in Proverbs 16:27, it says, idle hands are the devil's workshop, right? So what does that make our houses? And that's what it feels like. It really does. But we got to laugh, because if we don't start laughing, we'll just cry all day long. But it really does feel like, man, oh man. And then my poor husband, who's the stepfather of all this, is like, I signed up for this? You know. So I picked up a book. You know, I tend to, when I'm trying to get answers from the universe, and I'll open them up and I'll see what Spirit wants to say. You know, what is the words of encouragement that Spirit will give me that I can also share with this wonderful woman that called and shared her story. And I asked her if I could talk about this, and she said, absolutely. So I picked up my book, Wild Mercy, and I just opened it. And cosmically, I read these words. She wrote, I turned inward and gave myself permission to not have a clue what was going on or how to make myself useful. Slowly, I remembered that the feminine mystic is a different creature than the manly prophet. She is not a lone wolf raising her voice in the wilderness. She is not a strident preacher warning of doom. She is only as powerful as her community. Alone, she is nothing, and she knows it. The very concept of an individual Messiah makes no sense to her. When she hears the cries of the world, she reaches out and grasps the hands of her sisters, gathers up her children and asks the blessings of her elders, kisses her lover and turns the kettle to simmer and rides straight into the arms of the mystery, where she will wait until it is clear what needs to be done. Then together with her companions, she will do it. Look at Mother Mary, it says, a working-class Jewish teenager, unmarried. She receives an uninvited visit from a vast-winged being who fills her room with his radiance and hands Mary her sacred instructions. Will you be a vessel for the incarnation of the divine here on earth? He declares, and it's going to hurt like hell to be his mother. Mary trembles, but she stays present, and then she says, yes, here I am. Thy will be done. That moment between Mary's no way and her wholehearted yes is the dark night of the soul. It is a space of numinous mystery of radical unknowingness. It is unconditional and usually unintentional surrender without a flicker of expectation that everything will be okay. This is the place from which Mary agrees to show up as mother to the world. She does not do this alone. She's linked to every mother everywhere, forward and backward in time. How crazy is that? So I sit down in my office and I just grab a book and I open it to that. That is why we are on this path. It shows you that something is divinely listening constantly to every conversation we're having, to every deep feeling of fear and not knowing. And the universe uses other people's words. It speaks through them to share with us. Yeah, it's a really scary time, one. And women, you don't do this very well alone. We do this in community, right? Women do so much better when we have other women to talk to. And what are the odds that I'd walked into the church for the phone to ring, and I just happened to unlock the phone because I knew I was going to be here for an hour, and when I answered it, I was the voice to share that I also needed to share with her. And then the universe shows up with that. And there I sat mesmerized by Spirit. Show me once again how to support a mother on her journey. She is a mystic woman, not living an ordinary life. She might be living in a slightly apocalyptic world within her home right now, feeling her need for community more than ever, but she needs time with friends, with laughter, with support, with a break, with a hug. And I know that males can relate to this sermon because we all actually need community, but we also can relate to our mothers and what we watched them go through when we were children, right? So I emailed her this passage back to her that I found in Wild Mercy, and we talked again on the phone. She told me that it made her take a breath. She wiped the despair from her eyes and renewed her intention for staying present in her parenting. She felt less alone. She said to me that anyone who shows up to be a parent signed up for the mystery of life. And COVID has just exacerbated that mystery completely. And I speak to this because, sometimes we talk more vastly on this stage about the bigger picture of what this all means. The universe wants me to move on, and I didn't touch that. I'm getting there. And sometimes it's good just to look at a specific issue, for us to break it down and get some tools of how we move through the blocks that show up. Because I think many of us are seeing that we just are hitting a block, we're hitting a block, we're hitting a block. And to bring to mind like one particular block you're feeling in your life today as I speak about this, because I think then it will help you gain some tools on how to overcome and move through the blocks that you're experiencing. Tom Anderson writes, "I believe the sense of yearning we are feeling is coming not just from within us, but from the soul of the earth as well. The earth is desperate for us to wake up to our own deeper meaning and purpose. The world cries out for our true gifts, and our souls answer through the yearning we feel for something else, something different than the story we have been telling as individuals and as a society. Many of us are saying we need a miracle in certain areas. Maybe some of you are thinking, I need a miracle for a job. I need reprieve. I need a break. I need a partner. I need companionship. I need some children, maybe." I don't know if you should talk to me or this woman we talked on Friday about that, but I now understand why God gives you these little bouncing fat babies that just, their little feet jump every time you look at them, and it's just the sweetest, and it's just so, because you have that to remember. When you have two strong beings that are emulating the strength you've had, and now they can conquer you. And you think, oh, those fat legs, and they used to bounce when I'd walk in the room. So happy to see me. That's the same kid. Right? But parenting is a selfless part of life. And the teenage years, it's like your whole life is just kind of keeping them safe, kind of like when they were toddlers. You're keeping them safe in a whole different way. You're trying to give them freedom and also pad their lives. And there's a lot of fear and trepidation to this phase because you had full control in a way for the littler part. And now this expanded part is a big part of trusting God, being in a state of surrender, and just praying that training and that love and everything that you invested pays off in the bigger picture, because you see moments you're like, whoa, I don't recognize these qualities, right? And we know that in the teenage years, this is when the ego starts to flare up because it has to find strength. It has to find a way to leave this beautiful connection of mom and dad. So we find ourselves asking questions like, what do I truly value in my life, and did I make sure that my kids know this? What is the deeper meaning in life, and did I make sure that they understand that? What legacy do I want to leave for my children, and do they really know what I do in my life, and will they bring some of this into what they're going to do as adults? And also, we're asking ourselves, what do I really want? Because we're going to have to find a life beyond their leaving. And we start to grieve the process of not having them under our wings anymore, right? So it's this whole process. And then you add COVID to it. And all you want to do is hold them tight, and then also all you want to do is send them to a friend's house and play. So it's like we're in dualistic natures, right? So I started looking for ways that the Bible speaks to making a miracle happen. And I opened my Bible seeking guidance, and I grabbed one of the paper clips in my Bible, and it turned right to Luke 9:13. And handwritten, I wrote, Jesus wanted to demonstrate a miracle. And it was from when I was in school, and I write in my Bible. I don't know if that's respectful. I don't think Jack does. Jack underlines with different colors. I just write in mine, but it's my Bible, and you're not going to tell me how to treat it. But what it says, I'm paraphrasing it, I'm changing it up a little bit. As the day neared its end, the 12 came to Jesus and said, "Dismiss the crowd so they can go to the surrounding villages and countryside for lodging and provisions. For we are in a desolate place here." That's what the 12 said to Jesus. We are in a desolate place here. But Jesus told them, "You give them something to eat." And they said back to him, "We only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes." He said, okay. He told his disciples, "Have them sit down in groups of about 50 each." They did so, and everyone was seated. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, Jesus looked to the heavens. Jesus spoke a blessing and words of gratitude for the abundance that can only be created by Spirit. He broke the bread, and they multiplied. Then he gave them to the disciples to set before the people. They all ate and were satisfied. And so in this demonstration, this is how he demonstrates a miracle. He's saying, quiet the negative mind chatter. This is when they said, "We are in a desolate place here." They're claiming that there are no miracles possible in this place. And he's saying, quiet your negative mind and try something different in your thought process. Declare what you want. He says to them, you give them something to eat. But they're believing, we're only believing what we're seeing right here, which is 2 loaves and fishes. How are we going to feed this many people? And he looks up to the sky and he gives thanks. Thank you for this miracle that hasn't already even happened. He's in gratitude that it's already coming. He gets to the higher state of consciousness. That's what we're looking at. Thank you, God, that there's plenty here to feed the 50,000. Right? And then the gratitude statement beforehand and knowing it's going to happen. But it's in that serving. It's giving time. It's giving talent. It's in that treasure. It's in that meditation. It's in that prayer. It's in the time of giving to that energy that is always available to giving back to you. So quiet that negative mind and declare what you want. I want my kids to be happy. I want my friends' kids to be happy. I want my kids to be able to play with friends again and go skateboarding and go snowboarding and play sports and go to dance classes and all these things. But if we can't get that, then I want them to have a happy heart, regardless, that they learn that they have resilience in the times where things are not easy. You know, children that are handed too much in their childhood do not have the ability to overcome the difficult times. Maybe this is a gift for them to understand that you have to be able to be by yourself sometimes, to build a greater understanding of your relationship with this world, with yourself, and with this greater love that guides and directs absolutely everything about your life. What are some of the things that you want? You can call it out. Inner peace, patience, freedom. That's a good one. Me too. You want to see your friends. Yeah. See it again? The soul to be healed. That's a powerful place, right? So in the beginning of that saying, the 12 came to Jesus to dismiss the crowd. They said to find lodging and provisions because we are in a desolate place here. So we have to get out of that desolate thinking and declare what is needed at this time. So, Charles Fillmore, who is the co-founder of Unity with his wife Myrtle, wrote a book called The 12 Powers of Man. And he talks about how the 12 apostles represent the 12 phases of man. And it looks something like this: life, faith, understanding, power, imagination, strength, wisdom, love, will, release, order, and zeal. And the 12 apostles coming to him, they all represent something different. Peter represents faith. Andrew represents strength. James, wisdom. John, love. Philip, power. But it's not about the people as the 12 apostles. It's about the phases of life where we have to look upon these strengths to fill in what is it that we need more of to overcome this desolate thinking or this desolate feeling or this desolate place that we're visiting too much during this time. So for me, I think I need more understanding, imagination, and release. Do any of those speak to any of you? Which one? So, understanding, wisdom, and release. This is a really great book if you're facing challenges in your life that we do carry in our store, and it is open after the service. Only 3 people can be there at a time. But once you gain what you needed, you can form a new belief system and a new expanded awareness. Energy follows thoughts. We move toward, but not beyond, what we can imagine. What we assume, expect, or believe creates and colors our experience. By expanding our deepest beliefs about what is possible, we change our experience of life. So, for me, when I was talking to this nice woman about her children and feeling like we were living twin lives a little bit as far as how our households were being affected, especially with this Thanksgiving break and no change for them. Like they're so excited, so excited, so excited, it's Thanksgiving break. Oh, that doesn't mean that anything changed, other than they got a big meal on Thursday, which for all the moms out there right now, you also know that all you're doing is cooking and feeding these kids constantly because they're bored out of their minds. So, I'm getting positive here. I'm using some power and faith and order and all the things I need to do, but not looking at through a view of fear. Fear comes up when I feel like this is never going to end. A sense of a lack of power when I think, how are we going to get through this phase and have everybody come out unscathed? In A Course in Miracles, it says, in the holy instant, the condition of love is met. For minds are joined without the body's interference, and where there's communication, there is peace. Nothing will be lacking, and you will make complete and not destroy. Say then to your brother, I give you to the Holy Spirit as part of myself. I know that you will be released unless I want to use you to imprison myself. That's important. I give you to the Holy Spirit as part of myself. I know that you will be released unless I want to use you to imprison myself. In the name of my freedom, I choose your release because I recognize that we will be released together. So I alone am not solely responsible for my kids to get through this okay. I have to see the release in them. And I also have to let myself off the hook to a little bit. Trusting that something greater is at hand. Something greater is at work. In the book, My Stroke of Insight, by brain scientist Jill Bolt Taylor, says, the natural lifespan of an emotion, the average time it takes for it to move through the nervous system and body is only 1.5 minutes. After that, we need thoughts to keep the emotion rolling. So if we wonder why we lock into painful emotional states such as anxiety, depression, anger, we need look no further than our own endless stream of inner dialogue. And also, we know if we're getting stuck in the pattern of an inner dialogue that's keeping us in anxiety and anxiousness and feeling a sense of hopelessness, then we're not getting in nature enough. We're not meditating enough. We're not listening to our heart enough and quieting the mind chatter that is reminding us that things are not the same as they were. They're not the same as they were. They're not. The meditation makes us start to look for the dawning of what's being born through all of this. What is being born in us? What is being born in me? When I move out of that fear, when I move through that anxiety, when I move through that claustrophobia, when I move through that... What is that light that's coming up? What are we seeing down in the future? It can only get better. We need our Bach flower essences. We need our peace and calming young living oils. We need our joy oils. We need to pick up the phone and call someone when we've been stuck in that spiral where we can't break out of it and say, remind me of something funny that we did before, and let's just bask in that. And then start dreaming about things we can do when things start to open up that will be similar and even better. You know, this center enriches so many people's lives, and it's an incredible honor to be one of the people that holds that space for other people when they're going through stuff. But I don't do this alone. I do it with Jack, and I do it with Norma, and I do it with Michelle Pula, who runs the Sunday school, and I do it with Jeannie Russell, who's doing the Uniteens, and I do it with Melinda Malik, who's running the YOU, and they've stayed consistent, and we've all shown up. Regardless of whatever obstacle keeps showing up, it's just beautiful to watch us all adjusting. It's just a constant adjusting. Okay, so now this has been taken away. How are we going to show up for the kids still? This has been taken away. How are we going to show up to the elderly right now? This has been taken away. So it's this constant reinventing, and there's a sense that you really do start to get into flow. Because you don't know what any day's going to bring you. And I think that's one of the spiritual ideals, is to be living in a state of surrender and flow. And then in this distant day, when everything comes back to normal, man, we're going to be chill. We're going to be like, oh. Man, I can totally, I just can do Tai Chi with all these stressful things because I have been through COVID, man. So a lesson is repeated until it's learned. A lesson will be presented to you in various forms until you have learned it. When you have learned it, you can go on to the next lesson. And if this isn't a time where we're seeing repeated lessons, which there was one I was really recognizing yesterday when I was walking, and this one I can't share, but I realized that it's like something in my face about the situation, and I thought, God is trying to make me brave. I think it's time that I have to do something I really don't want to do. And I think that that's the truth for a lot of people right now. To be brave enough to stop doing something over and over again that is not serving yourself and others. And I still am scared to do the thing that I got in my walk, but that's in my God box. You know, I love that Jack referred to a God box. I have a place now where I'm putting my prayers. I don't have to bring the prayers to the church. I have in my home where I'm asking, I'm not finding the answers to this issue in my life right now, and I need divine guidance. And I'm finding it's coming, and it's coming quicker when I'm asking very clearly what it is that I need help with. So I wanted to close with a video that Melinda Malik has put together with our YOU. They've been meeting online just for the last week, actually. They were meeting until about a week ago. And now they're meeting over FaceTime or something like that, and the group is staying together. But this is a way for them to reach out and show how this center is helping them stay above water. And this is the 14 to 18-year-old amazing teens in our church. Can you play this video, please?
My message for you all is to take this time right now to be extra mindful and remember to live in the present moment, because as we live in very unexpected and fast-moving times, it's so easy to get caught up and project yourself onto a future that doesn't even exist. So take the time to enjoy the beauty and the power of now.
Even though we're all going through these tough times, we're going through them together. I just want to remind you to have open your heart and know that we're all going to get through this together.
Thank you. Now, listen, things in the world are awful right now, as we all know, with COVID and everything. But in my life, and most likely in yours and in everyone's, there have been times where things are awful, nothing goes right in the world, and everything's doom and gloom. But funnily enough, we all come out of those situations stronger, and everything's okay. And I feel like personally right now, this is one of those times where everything is doom and gloom, and nothing's going right in the world. But after this all passes over, we will be stronger than we were before, and everything will be okay. All right, anyway, here you go.
My message of hope that I'm sharing with you is these beautiful flowers and an oracle card that I have pulled and prayed over for everyone to see. And the message for this group is Gates of Triumph. Success expands in your life. Take the trials and tribulations of this year from this dark forest and this seemingly dark path into the light, and let yourself follow the simple and clear feelings that come to you, because the future is bright.
I'd like you to think about taking the time to give back to your community. This can be done by sending your local hospital or local fire department letters of appreciation. You can send them a gift basket full of gloves, masks, and hand sanitizer. You can also collect old clothes, food, toiletries, and blankets to give to your local homeless shelter. Whatever you choose to do, keep spreading love and positivity through these difficult times.
That's Chad's daughter that just spoke.
Keep your heads up and don't let your crowns fall, you kings, queens, and everyone in between.
During this hard and dark time we are finding ourselves all in, I am inspired by those who continue to give love and kindness even when you are feeling hopeless. I am inspired by those who continue to fight to keep us safe and healthy even when you are exhausted mentally, emotionally, and physically. Thank you. I'm inspired by those who continue to give even when they don't have the time or the funds to do it. You inspire me and many others to keep our lights shining. Sending love and continued strength to all of you.
From Boulder, YU,
From our YU family to yours,
our family to yours,
We love you, we bless you, and we truly appreciate you.
James Dillett Freeman wrote, "Only in absolute stillness, beyond self, can you know me as I am, and then but as a feeling and a faith, yet I am there. Yet I hear, yet I answer, when you need me, I am there. Even if you deny me, I am there. Even when you feel most alone, I am there. Even in your fears, I am there. Even in your pain, I am there. I am there when you pray and when you do not pray. I am in you and you are in me." Blessings. We'll take an offering for unity now.
Inspiring talk, and I learned something just now. I didn't know my granddaughter had orange hair, but that's the way it goes. So anyway, I am really thankful. This is a season of thanks and thanksgiving, but I am really thankful for the people who support Unity of Boulder financially, and they're there and they're part of this ministry. Every good thing that takes place here only takes place because of the wonderful people that see to it that we can pay our way in the world. So to all of you out there and all of you in here that are part of that giving process, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are doing such a great and phenomenal work. And thank you again for allowing this ministry to flourish, which it is. It's flourishing in its own way, online and things like that. So now, let us also get into that giving feeling. Let us take our offerings in our hands. Those of you watching online, just bring to mind what gift you'd like to give to Unity. We have all the different ways that you can tithe and support this ministry. It's up on the screen. But right now, just bring to mind what it is you'd like to give. And let's bless this offering with this statement: divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
Hello. I am happy to say that I do believe, out of all the chaos, out of all the insanity that we've been going through, I am focusing my light on the Christmas season. Every year when I see that Christmas tree go up and the sleigh ride moments and the children dressed in their tacky Christmas sweaters, I have a tacky Christmas sweater too. It just makes me feel alive again. It makes me feel connected, and it's going to look different this year. But still, let's find that joy. Let's know in our hearts that guess what? It's all going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. I have complete and total knowing of this. So this song, for me, is about joy, is about happiness, is about Christmas. So let's get our Christmas hats on, maybe an elf hat, maybe a Santa hat. I don't know, maybe you just want to be a beautiful angel. But come with me on this, okay? Be here with me. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, y'all.
All right, that concludes our service, and we do have the bookstore open, so you can get some wonderful Christmas items and things like that, and it supports the center, so that's located right out here. And next week, we're going to have soloists every Sunday leading into Christmas, and next week it will be my daughter Arenya White and Dinah Pollard. Is it still Dinah? I think it's Dinah Pollard, yeah. And you all know her. She usually sings, we usually do duets, and we'll be doing one next week, actually. So let's all rise, and we'll close with our closing song. What wrong song? No, we're at I Release and Let Go. Like, I can't find my note. Me. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Yes, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Woo! If you have a prayer need, just stay seated and a prayer partner will come and pray with you. Thank you for coming.
So.
She sent me a message. I thought we were doing from now till the end of December, peace on earth for the end of the.
Yeah.
Look at her. Nope.
It's not December yet. I guess that's why. It's not December, technically.
All right.
We just always expect one song to be the
Thanks, sir.
We'll get the rest of the stuff out of here.
Yeah. All right.
There's only love.
I also go back and forth with our parts, so you can get a rough vibe.
Okay.
Will you be able to be at a rehearsal on Thursday,
Okay.
December 10th?
What time?
6.
Probably won't be able to make it. As soon as I can get out of the trees, that's 6:50.
6:50?
Yeah. So I can get here by 7.
That should be fine. We'll probably be doing staging anyway, mostly. I can
And then it
turn
is
on
Saturday the 12th.
And then Saturday the 12th and 10th.
Recording and actually doing our performance.
Yeah, so Thursday we're blocking it, we're
planning and
playing the music, all
Yeah,
of it. So that
that's
might be kind of a
Thursday,
long
10th.
rehearsal
Right.
for that one song. So the sooner you can get their mic, and probably get things roughly set up.
And then also Thursday will just be set up for this whole show. We're just going to be a couple of drum sets on the stage, and so yeah, you're just going to have a little
2
more.
drum sets?
2 drum sets, exactly. More of a sound adventure than usual. You know,
Fantastic. Yeah,
it's
that
always
would
an
take a little
adventure.
more
but
set.
it'll
Is it
be
a
an extra.
live set?
Yeah, it's just like
No, his is or is his kind of a hybrid, or is it, it's all electronic as well?
it's just like yours. Maybe, yeah, maybe a few more pieces to it, but it's the same thing. He's not 100% definite anyways.
Okay.
He's like, I
The only
don't
thing
know if I can make it. If not, you can handle this whole thing without him, right?
Yeah, I'm already
I'm pretty
practicing
sure
my
we have him,
music.
but if
I've got-
not, we may not. I'll let you know in a few days.
Okay, the only thing I would
Get
think
back
is
to
because like we'd have to do like a left-right mix out of one drum set instead of having the individual kick, snare, and hi-hat.
Yeah, well, it'll just be like one mix for that recording, and when it's done, it's done. So it's not really like,
Oh, right, yeah.
it's not like something you have to plan for performance.
I
Basically,
gotcha,
once
okay.
we're done with the 12, then we can reset the whole stage back. So it's just like one practice, one recording, and then that's our Christmas